Cris Tales will mark the first story I cover in my brand new series called Stories from a Nobody. Basically, I will go over the story in much more detail than in my retrospectives. Yeah, so anyway, this is the story of Cris Tales. So the story starts off with straight hands. We're introduced to Crisbel and she's defending the town against these things. Another guy shows up and they take care of business until these two girls show up. Yeah, they can't lay a finger on them, so Crisbel uses a crystal, but before we can see what happens, the screen goes black. We're now in the town and Crisbel has to pick some flowers or some shit. After searching the town for the frog that stole her rose, Crisbel finds herself in the cathedral. Here she unlocks the past and future because the frog says she's the chosen one or something. The frog tells Crisbel to head to the lake because there's a man who can help her understand her powers better. Crisbel meets a time mage and he's hating because he couldn't open both time crystals like Crisbel did. Anyway, he explains that Crisbel has the ability to see possible futures. Using that power, Crisbel can see that her orphanage gets destroyed in the future, as well as some houses. The cause is that some goblins set the farm on fire and it spreads something that infects the houses. Wilhelm gives Crisbel a sword and we go defend the farm. It's the same scene as in the beginning. Christopher shows up and we tag team the goblins, then the two girls show up again. This time we're able to do damage thanks to Crisbel's new strat. She tells Christopher to hit them with a water attack, then Crisbel sends them into the future. The water rusted her shield, letting Crisbel and Christopher do some damage. The two girls flee and tell the Empress about what happened. Everyone meets at the cathedral and team up, and the goal is to stop the Empress. Crisbel sleeps and has this strange dream. After wandering the woods to reach St. Clarity, Crisbel, Christopher, and Wilhelm get surrounded by wolves. Everyone is about to get washed, but Crisbel pulls out her trump card and breaks the crystal. This took care of the problems, but she can't use her powers anymore. Turns out she overused them. They get to town and Christopher says he has to take care of something. I know he's from here and all, but he could have told us what it was. Anyway, this dumbass kid floats away and now we gotta save him. We take out this slime thing and return Mario to his mom. She says she's gonna make Mario a soup to fix him up, but like, where the fuck is my soup? I was poisoned. With Christopher's help, we enter the walled city. They enter the cathedral, but something seems off. Wilhelm even says this place feels dangerous. Crisbel talks with Christopher's mom, who tells them where they'd thrown out the old stained glass. It was thrown out years ago over at the docks, so the group make their way over there. When they arrive, this big ass statue sinks underwater and brings up this cathedral. They enter and meet the statue lady. As Crisbel is about to touch the altar, these two appear again. The group fights them off for enough time for Crisbel to reach the altar and get her powers back. But she also gained a new one that lets everybody sync up their attacks. Anyway, with Crisbel's powers back, the two girls leave once again. After that, Christopher's mom asked us to find out what happened to some missing workers. So Crisbel, Christopher, and Wilhelm arrive at Mount Thesia. They come across this machine that was programmed to kill animals to extract the red crystals from it. It also has a defense program and it's to kill anyone who interferes with the process. Yeah, so it killed the missing workers and tries to kill Crisbel, but they defeat it. They try to expose Enzo, but they send guards, so the group has to go to the sewers. This weird looking creature needs help, so I guess they gotta go after it. Well, turns out it was a trap, but they take care of business, don't worry. With the help of Audrey, Crisbel is able to escape the sewers. Audrey tells everyone she built the robot and designed it not to hurt humans, but Enzo tampered with it. Cris Bell now has a witness, so they head to where Enzo is to expose his punk ass. Everyone in town is now on our side, so Enzo fights us. Yeah, after a pretty challenging fight, Cris Bell comes out on top. This is when the Time Empress shows up. Enzo was working for her, but I guess she always knew he was gonna fail, so she kills him and leaves. Now, Armando is the town's new leader. Our next destination is a cathedral up north, a place called Neva Tolera. They rest for a while and Cris Bell has another strange dream. Watch.
What do you mean we all end up the same way? You thought you had a better plan, but look where it got you.
Cris Bell says her dreams are about her mother, but she can't make out the face cause, she don't know who her parents are. But then she says her mom looks just like the Empress. Everyone says, nah, that's crazy, it's just a dream. Then the group lands on shore and makes their way up north. They make it to the cathedral, but someone shattered part of the mural, meaning Cris Bell can't get any of her powers from it. The only thing left to do is figure out who broke it and get it repaired. The group arrives in the town of Neva Tolera. There seems to be a shadow figure stealing everybody's stuff. Cris Bell wants to help find it so she can give this builder guy his tools back and repair the mural. They meet up with Risa, the one who gave them the info about the shadow figure, then head to the bottom of the museum. Also, I forgot to mention, this old machine that turned alive again named Buki is with us now too. Cris Bell also got the powers to send objects into the past or future now. At the bottom of the museum, Cris Bell overhears a convo between Rawless making a deal with one of the Empress's henchmen. They rush in and the evil one sends an extinct shadow creature on the group, but they handle business. Cris Bell helps release the prisoner from some guy named Lucio, and in return he got them some new tools. We pick them up and give them to Rojo. We then have to get miracle water from this place. Cris Bell walks into this black room and gets another vision. Then the Time Empress shows up. Cris Bell gets whooped. Then the Time Empress rewinds time to whoop them again. But this robot named JKR721 saves the day. They regroup and rest, then JKR721, K for short, joins our party. They head back to the cathedral and it's all fixed up now. Cris Bell gets the power she needs, but their time here isn't complete yet. Risa appears and tells everyone she thinks Rawless is gonna try something. They get to the funeral, but they need some proof to prove that Rawless is bad news. The robot person that came to life saw what happened, so the group needs to find the robot's missing parts to get the full story. So the group heads to the salt mines. Cris Bell gathers all of Buki's parts, then they head to the cathedral and reassemble Buki. Just before Buki can spill the beans about Rawless, that evil person shows up, and with the help of the Empress, she turns Buki against us. My resurrection can only be completed by trading one life for another. So basically, Rawless was summoned here, on some evil shit. They go tell Lucio about the news, but it's still our word against theirs. So we gotta find the will of the person that Rawless murdered. Cris Bell grabs the will and exposes Rawless as a fraud, so Rawless kidnaps Risa. Cris Bell then has to fight Rawless. They win their fight and free the city of her corruption. Now Cris Bell must head to the city of Cinder for the next cathedral. Turns out those two evil sisters that Cris Bell threw hands with are here, and apparently they're princesses of this place. They can't enjoy the scenery long cause this place gets bombed. It's an all-out attack. Christopher inhales red dust or something, and now he has glass lung, aka he's dying. Luckily this girl named Zaz helps everyone out. Wilhelm and Christopher stay behind while Cris Bell, Robot Guy, and Zaz head to find a cure. Cris Bell finds the girl that made the cure, but before they can help her make more, the Volcano Sisters show up. After a pretty tough battle, Cris Bell defeats them, but the evil girl from the other village shows up and takes the Cure Girl. Cris Bell finds where the sisters are holding Cure Girl. Cris Bell tells the sisters that the magic they use to heal the sick is causing the people to go feral. Cure Girl is at a dead end with her research to perfect the cure, but the sisters let Cris Bell go look for Zast's dad's research notes, as it'll be a big help to the cure. So the group enters the lab. While there, Cris Bell runs into someone named Nassar, who claims Cris Bell's sword was her creation. So she does the logical thing and fights instead of asking questions. They win, of course, and head into the lab. Evil Shadow Girl is here too, but she couldn't find the notes, so she dips. Cris Bell finds the notes using her time powers and gives them to Cure Girl, who makes a prototype cure. The cure works and Christopher is back to normal. They give the cure to the leader of the town, and to repay them, he tells the guards to seize them. Cris Bell gets pissed and somehow freezes time. Then the Time Empress appears. Her and Cris Bell exchange some words, then Evil Shadow Girl shows up and kills the leader for revenge of her father. The Volcano Sisters take Cris Bell back to the castle and give them a royalty seal, so Cris Bell can go to the cathedral and stop whatever the Time Empress is planning. They then make it to the cathedral and Evil Shadow Lady is there, and this time she's looking to fight us herself. Cris Bell wins the fight, then gets a new power from the cathedral. But then the Time Empress appears.
Oh, it has a certain beauty that's quite captivating, doesn't it? Well, my ride has arrived. Perhaps we'll meet again in Cris Tales. See you soon.
The Time Empress hatched a giant dragon egg, causing a huge wave of lava headed straight for the town. Luckily, Cris Bell now has the power to stop time, buying everyone some time to evacuate the city. There's one final objective, and that's to head to Crystalis and stop the Time Empress. Evil Shadow Lady kills the guards and the city's last line of defense is brought down, but all of the Mother Superiors freeze her in time. Cris Bell meets up with the Mother Superiors at the cathedral and gets her final power. But then Evil Shadow Lady breaks free from the spell and kills Cris Bell's mother figure. Enraged, Cris Bell rewinds time, but only on Evil Shadow Lady, turning her into a kid. The Time Empress isn't too happy about that and absolutely wipes out Cris Bell. That's when Wilhelm reveals his true self. He wipes out the Time Empress's shield, but by doing so, he loses his life. Before that, he manages to send us away and tells us what the Time Empress is planning. Cris Bell calms herself down and goes for a rematch, this time winning. The Time Empress tells Cris Bell if she pieced the puzzle together, which Cris Bell says,
"Put it together? Of course I have! And I don't care! Mother!"
But the Time Empress just laughs and says she hasn't, then escapes into some ruins. We follow her there and then... With the Time Empress dead, everyone can return home. The war is over. Turns out, even though she was defeated, the Time Empress still wins by exploding the ancient ruins scattered throughout the world. Cris Bell travels back in time to stop that plan from going off. Cris Bell heads to each ruin and deactivates the self-destruction. With all the ruins disabled, the only thing left is to defeat the Empress once and for all. The fight goes the same as the first time, and Kay hits the final blow on the Empress. Everyone celebrates, but our talking frog seems to be celebrating a little too hard. Turns out, that was Matthias's plan the whole time. He found Cris Bell, got her to meet Wilhelm, helped her train, got her to stop the Empress, all for his own selfish plan. He reveals his true form. He's from thousands of years from the past and seeks revenge on humanity. Kay is also one of these ancient beings and turns on the group as well. The traitors leave, then the Time Empress reveals everything to Cris Bell. The Time Empress and Cris Bell are one and the same. They have been trapped in a time loop trying to stop that ancient guy. So now it's up to Cris Bell to find a way to stop him or all is lost. Cris Bell gathers the smallest minds across each town to see if they can come up with a way to open the door. To do that, Cris Bell needs to go into each ruin and open the doors. The first ruin that Cris Bell enters has her fight Nassar. After defeating her, Cris Bell manages to make Nassar realize what they're doing is wrong. Anyway, that's one ruin down and there's 3 more to go. The next ruin, Cris Bell has to fight Buki. After Cris Bell wins, Buki begs her to finally put her out of her misery, but Cris Bell reminds Buki that she was meant to care for the people and not hurt them. The next ruin, Cris Bell has to fight Paulina. After defeating her, Cris Bell convinces Paulina to do her original purpose, which is to act as a connection to bring humans and the ancients together. The next ruin, Cris Bell has to fight her former friend, Kay. After he is defeated, he joins her side once more. With all the generators down, Cris Bell can now face Ardo, before he makes human race go extinct. The group enters the ruins. Cris Bell and Ardo fight for their ideals, but Cris Bell comes out on top. Cris Bell tells Ardo there's a way to make things right. Cris Bell sacrifices herself to make a better future, one in which the ancients and humans live together peacefully. We get one last look of all the towns living a good future, then Ardo goes back to his world. Then he says,
"We actually did it. I'm home. I'm finally home. No. It can't be. It's you."
And that's the story of Cris Tales. Well, I did my job of telling you wonderful people the story of what I think is a pretty underrated game. Subscribe if you want to see another story from a nobody.